Look, I wanted the Avs to win that game, but I just can't be mad at the effort they put out there. Even if it was ugly hockey at times, sometimes you have to be able to play ugly hockey to be successful. Avs lose to the Minnesota Wild 2-1 in the shootout. Look, I think there's a very real world where the Avs get a lead early in this game and are able to maintain it and get the job done, but they just were just enough off, or maybe they weren't getting the bounces for that to be the reality. You had multiple posts hit in this game, including two that hit the inside of post. Nelson hit the inside of the crossbar, and it did not go in. And then Nate, just on a backdoor play, hit the inside of a post. It went off of Gustafsson and still did not go in. So it just felt like at times the puck did not want to go for Colorado tonight. And I know that's been a conversation for a good portion of this season, but this one didn't feel like that. This one didn't feel like a team that was struggling to score. In a lot of ways, this actually felt like this was building to a success, but then the Avs just ran out of gas because this was a SEGABABA in which they traveled and they were playing a rested team that is known for playing really sludgy quality defense. It's a hard spot to be in. I don't feel bad about a scheduled loss being a loss, and that the fact that the puck was not going their way and they still managed to scrape a point out of this game, I actually feel pretty good about it. Even if there were long portions of the second and third period of this game that were just kind of gross hockey. The Avs ran out of gas, they struggled to string passes together, and they struggled to make quality plays in the second half of this game. That's part of the conversation. That comes with SEGABABAs on the regular. I don't have a problem with that. Again, it happens. It's just the reality of games like this. And to be honest, that's when they scored their goal anyway, right? They found a way through not having the legs, not being able to put all the touchy plays together. They still managed to get a goal, and they still managed to get that point. Really, I thought the best period of the games was the first period for the Avs. They dominated the possession in the first period and were taking it to Minnesota. Minnesota was just doing a good job of clogging the lanes, blocking shots, and not letting the Avs get dangerous chances. It wasn't for lack of effort from the Avs. Minnesota was just playing good defense for, honestly, almost the entire game. Yes, you live in a world where you fail to capitalize on your chances. Eventually, the other team is going to come back and bite you, and that did happen in the second period. But I think the only real area I would like to see the Avs play a little bit better offensively, at least in the first half of the game, is on the power play. They did get two power play opportunities in the second that they let slip by, which it happens, but Minnesota also happens to be one of the worst penalty kills in the league, and the Avs weren't able to capitalize there. If they do capitalize on those power plays, there's a very good chance they win this game, even with all the other bad bounces and things that might be going against them. Ultimately, though, it's Minnesota to strike first, and this goal comes directly from a completely unforced error from Colorado. A dumped-in puck here, Minnesota is able to get in deep and get the initial possession, but pretty quickly it comes up the wall, and Nate just has clean possession here. He's not even challenged. This guy is coming up on his backside here, but he has time and space. Faber is peeling off even. He's not under any threat of danger here. Nate just is looking. He sees Cale Makar, and I assume he is trying to hit Cale Makar here, but there's traffic in front up ahead, so this is a little bit of a squirrely play, and if there's any doubt in the defensive zone, do not put the puck into your own slot. With any doubt at all, you cannot put the puck there. That's exactly what Marty does, and he just, I don't know. I think maybe he's trying to hit McKinnon too. He thinks McKinnon is going to step into this because it's clearly so far behind Cale. Ultimately, it's a pass to no one. It's a terrible flip that I just don't know who it was intended for, and that causes the Avs to be in a disastrous situation because everyone is flying the zone. You have four players completely flying the zone because you had clean possession and were out of your zone if you make a smart play with the puck. Instead, you're completely caught because Taves is in a battle for position that he's lost on the backside of this. So Minnesota gets clear possession. Sure, maybe Mac gets caught floating a little bit. Fair enough. Either way, it's a disastrous position that you're left in because of Natchez' ill-advised pass. This is a 2-on-0. Good friggin' luck. You don't need my play breakdown there. A 2-year-old who's watching hockey for the first time could tell you not to do that. Breakdowns happen all the time in hockey, but breakdowns that bad don't happen that often. I didn't love Natchez' game tonight. I thought there was maybe more to give, even if he did show some of that high skill at times, but I'm not overly concerned here. Don't make that play again, and we've got no problems. On the backside, Blackwood played great in actual hockey today. That's the only goal he gives up, and he allowed the Avs to get a point out of this game by not giving up another one. He didn't have a huge workload or anything, but when the Avs did make mistakes, when the Avs were out of gas and chasing plays in the defensive zone at times, Blackwood was able to make the saves that he needed to and give this game some legs. Ultimately, the third period felt like a slow trek to an inevitable loss, in my opinion, but you know what? Eventually, you're going to get a good bounce if you put pucks towards the net. Feels like the Avs haven't done a good enough job of that at times this year. And while they didn't have a ton of shots on net, they did take a lot of attempts. One finally gets through, and it counts. Girard going to carry this puck through the neutral zone himself and essentially go 4-on-1 to get into the offensive zone. Minnesota leaves enough of a gap, and Kivi doesn't try to get cute with it like we see the Stars do. He just gets this puck in deep, flips it towards the net. Gustafsson puts it to the corner, and Kivi is able to win the battle to get the puck and get the Avs possession. Huge. Glad he gets rewarded for this play to get the Avs an offensive zone possession. He works it back up high. Pretty simple D-to-D pass for Malinsky. Girard is going to do the Girard classic here. Put on the Sam spin. La Tornade puts him in the tornado, but this is an awkward spot. Girard is a lefty, so he's working on his backhand side here, and you know what? He doesn't overthink it. He says, screw it, I'm putting a puck towards the net. We don't have a ton of shots on goal tonight. I'm just going to let it go. And it works out great because the Avs are battling for position. Kivi in front, again, hard-working human being, and Colton has found a little bit of a lane for himself to come streaking across. Now, Colton does touch this, and we'll talk about that, but ultimately, it goes off of Colton, off of Kiviranta in front, and finds its way in. Now, I don't have the best angle of it. The replays just did not show the one really good angle of it, but Colton is going to cut across here, and as Girard goes to throw the backhand towards the net, Colton is reaching his glove out. I don't really understand. I don't know what he thinks he's going to do if he catches this puck, but he certainly reaches his hand out, and he's credited with the assist. So even though I don't have the better angle, he does touch it here. According to the NHL, he touched this puck with his glove, and then it goes off of Kivi and in. The legality there of that goal is probably pretty questionable. I am not that much of a rules expert. I feel like I know the rules pretty well, but I don't really know if that's supposed to count or not. It did count. They even reviewed it and said it counted. So I guess it's allowed. To be honest with you, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth here. The Avs have had a lot of goals I thought shouldn't have count against them. So here we are. Take it and run. To my original point, though, that's not a good shot. That's Sam Girard, a defenseman, floating a backhand from beyond the circles. The expected goals for on that has to be about as close to zero as you can possibly get. But a touch from Colton and a touch from Kiviranta, you get a bounce and one that ends up in the back of the net. It's the type of goal in a type of situation that the Avs just haven't been able to come up with enough this year, and they came up with it there. From there, both teams seemed content to take this one to overtime, to be honest, and I'm more than okay with that. That point guarantees the Avs stay ahead of Minnesota, even when Minnesota plays that game in hand that they have. The overtime was borderline unwatchable. Minnesota essentially didn't even try to play offense for the vast majority of the OT and had the puck for the vast majority of OT. For the 45 seconds to a minute that the Avs actually possessed the puck, they got two quality opportunities. They weren't able to score on them, but whatever Minnesota did in that overtime, not fun. And I get it. Mackenzie Blackwood is known to be bad in the shootout, and Minnesota was probably playing for that, but still, for a 3-on-3 overtime that was implemented to create more exciting hockey and ending games, what Minnesota did in this game was the exact opposite of that. And then the shootout was what it was. I don't even really have anything to break down here. Mackenzie Blackwood is just clearly not very good at them. On the flip side, the Avs' chances weren't all that great either. McKinnon put a half-decent chance on, but Nate just lost the puck and didn't even really get a shot off. It was ugly, but I don't care. Again, the Avs probably shouldn't have even gotten a point out of this game. Certainly when you were at the start of that third period, you were not expecting the Avs to even get 1 point, and they managed to do that. That's a good job. That's some good work. And while that point may matter, at the end of the day, when you get to the playoffs, there's no 3-on-3. There's no shootout. Those types of things won't be mattering. In the part of the game that matters when it comes to playoff time, the Avs gutted it out and did a good job tonight. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to DNVR.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and an ugly point is still a point.